Good evening, and it's an honor to welcome you to the annual banquet of Yeshivas Meor HaTorah. Each year, we have an opportunity to spend an evening with the friends and supporters of the yeshiva and to say thank you for everything you do for Yeshivas Meor HaTorah. The banquet also gives us a chance to share with you some of the yeshiva's accomplishments during the past year. Tonight, we are also celebrating a siyum of Meseches Bava Metzia by many of the Talmidei HaYeshiva, giving us all the schos to share in the Simchas HaTorah. We would like to take a moment to thank a few of the people who graciously gave their time and energy to make tonight's banquet possible. The banquet coordinators, Mrs. Chaya Cohn, Mr. Lisa Feinstone, and Mrs. Mindy Lebovitz. Every detail of this evening's menu and decor were carefully planned by these women. We thank Rabbi David Sukenik, Ms. Naomi Baver, Ms. Nama Goldstein, and the junior Neshei of Yeshivas Meor HaTorah for the time they spent ensuring the success of the banquet. We also thank Mrs. Shari Bornstein, Mrs. Naomi Samber, and Mrs. Bina Simon, who have given much of their time to compile the journal. Our office staff, Mrs. Batya Bromberg, Mrs. Debbie Pikes, and Mrs. Hannah Malka Schwimmer, who work non-stop to keep the yeshiva running every day and have been working overtime to ensure the success of tonight's event. Mrs. Rachel Ray, who is a shochin tov to the yeshiva, was very helpful to the office staff during this crucial time. We also express our appreciation to Mrs. D.B. Fink, Mrs. Faith Bouguet, and the staff for all their help here tonight. Tonight's audio-visual services are provided by Larry Engelhardt of Deja Views, who has been an invaluable resource in the planning of tonight's banquet. Mr. Usher Cohn and Mr. Morty Lebovitz have been working for months to make this banquet a reality. We thank you and acknowledge that this would not have happened without you. Thank you as well to those who support our efforts by being part of the banquet committee. I would now like to call upon the Rosh Masifta of Leo Millen to present the award to Rabbi and Mrs. Mary Yehuda Lichtman.
Rabbi and Mrs. Lichtman are a couple who have been fulfilling the Sifri that says, V'havtes Hashem Elokecha, Ahaveu al Abrios Kavram Avicha. They have been doing this with Talmidim, Talmidos, individuals in the Tzibur for 3 decades. In recognition of the Ribu Kavod Shemayim, a group of the Kreve V'Yedidei Yeshiva have come together to dedicate the Lichtman Chabura room adjacent to the Beis HaMedrash. This room will be used by the Talmidim to deliver Chaburas and will be a physical display of the Avas HaTorah emanating from the Lichtmans. The plaque on the room reads, the Lichtman Chabur room, the Chavad HaManal Shlito Mishpachtoi Avur Mesirusam Be'akamas HaYeshiva V'hem Shechatzlachasa Hunsach HaYidei Kreve V'Yedidei HaMishpacha. I call upon the Rosh Hashanah, Rabbi Shlomo Cohen, Rabbi Moshe Scheinberg, along with Rabbi Avram Reifer and Rabbi Rami Weinfeld to present this dedication. At the same time, Mrs. Lichtman will be presented with a gift from the yeshiva. Mazel tov.
I think the song speaks louder than words. Thank you, everyone, for coming. My wife and I thank you for the schus and the honor of tonight, and in general, being Marbitz Torah to Talmidim and Talmidos. We should continue with the schus of being Marbitz Torah. I'd be as goal. Thank you, Rabbi Millen, for your kind words. Thank you, Rabbi Shali, for your kind words. For Shus to Rosh Hashiva, or Mashal Hirschlita, it's a tremendous chus to have the Rosh Hashiva grace us with this presence and Divrei Chizuk. Yeshiva benefits regularly with Rosh Hashiva's guidance and adracha, as so many other yeshivas do across the globe. Yasher Kochacha. Rishus the Rosh Mesifta, Rav Shlomi Cohen, Rav Yoel Millen Shlita, will ensure the tzlach of every aspect of the yeshiva in countless ways. It is a chus to work alongside the Rosh Mesifta together, Rabbi Kurtz, on an administrative level. We should continue the art and the job of being Marbitz Torah. I'd like to acknowledge and thank my mother, Shetichio, Shizbi Gesund and Stark, for traveling to Chicago for this Maimed. Together with Diri Zechrein Levracha, Mami, you have designed and modeled the life of Liman HaTorah and Abartzis HaTorah. Much of the tzlacha of yeshivas and koilim in America today is due to the lessons in Mesiras Nefesh that Talmidim of Aaron Kotler Zatzal learned and transmitted. Thank you for everything, and may we continue to give you nachas and good health. Rabbi and Mrs. Avram Reifer, my esteemed in-laws, our parents, by the way, incidentally, Mazel Tov on the anniversary today. R'ez Hashem, next year we'll spend a smaller crowd for the 60th anniversary B'Shah Tova. Rabbi Mr. Reifer have been instrumental in establishing Mekaymis Tefillah and Torah in this city, including Yeshivas Meor Torah. By word and by deed, they demonstrate devotion and care for our mishpacha and for everyone who crosses their way. May Hashem continue to give them nachas and good health from the mishpacha, including the Einiklach and the Or Einiklach. We pay tribute tonight, this evening, to Mr. and Mrs. Abe Kutnicki for assisting this lofty goal of Abartzis HaTorah. Thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Asher Cohen and Mr. and Mrs. Morty Leibovitz for hosting this dinner. These parents are a dogma for the children to see and grow from. May they have continued nachas from their wonderful children and mishpacha. Mazel tov to the Messiahim, who through expert guidance of Rabbi Bachamovitz, Rabbi Pillar, and all the Rabbeim have learned through the Masechta with Hasmada. And Mazel tov to all the Bnei Yeshiva for continuously steiging. Thank you, Rabbi Ari Friedman, and the very capable, I'm going to repeat that again, office staff, who had made this all happen through diligence, patience, and expertise. Yasher Kochachem. In order for one to be Marbitz Torah, to create seeds in a home, we need an Neshei Chayil to nurture a Mikdash Ma'at. In this way, the Abartzis HaTorah has a kiyum. There are certain mechanchos that are Marbitz Torah in their own right. Mazel tov to Mrs. Roni Lichtman, a special individual who excels in both areas. May Hashem grant us the schus to continue being Marbitz Torah, and may continue to have nachas for our children and grandchildren. Abiyas Goyal. As I prepared my remarks, I gave a copy to Rav Ari Friedman. He okayed it. Little did he know that that was only my first draft. The Gemara in Menachah says, Amar Resh Lakish, Kol hashekech davar melimudai over belav shenemar hishamer lecho shmar nafshecha miyoi pen tishkach esadvarim. One who forgets learning transgresses a lav. The same hazar is written in Masechtas Avos. However, the Mishnah sounds much more stringent and says Kol hashekech davar melimudai ischayid menafshoi. Why is there a distinction regarding the severity? A lav does not result in ischayid menafshoi. There is a well-known machlokes between the Baal HaTanya and the Nefesh HaChaim if the law of Shichas HaTorah is applicable today. Rav Chaim Volozhin holds that nowadays that we have Torah Shabbat, which is already written, then it's not relevant anymore because we could review it. The Isser was only applied when everything was through Messiah. The Baal HaTanya holds that even today the Isser still applies. Perhaps the Nefesh HaChaim would agree that when integral lessons of Torah are forgotten, one is ever beloved. One can review the actual blot and the material, but might lose the beauty of the Torah. He may have lost a small portion of Derech HaChaim, which is lost forever. If a person loses or forgets the darga or the level of Torah, then that is a crime. That's what the Mishnah means, the Schai ben Afshay. The Mishnah is not telling us a punishment, it's just a consequence. You cannot ever forget what Torah's Chaim has done for us. You always have to understand and learn these lessons. Our esteemed Rabbeim of Yeshivas Meor Torah are not only teaching the Chachmas HaTorah through expert pedagogue, they are giving over Derech HaChaim. They are developing the whole Talmud as a Ben Torah. A Talmud's approach to everything in life will be enhanced through the Messiah of Torah. When a Rebbe spends countless hours preparing shiurim, sometimes staying up late at night listening to shiurim, they are demonstrating Hasmada. When a Rebbe reviews his own notes from his own Rabbeim, he's demonstrating Messiah. When a Rebbe returns very early in the morning from out of town, this is Achrayus. When a Rebbe develops his own Mahalach in the Sugya, this shows Koyach HaChiddush. When a Rebbe prepares sheets and notes for the Talmidim, he shows Hasbara and clarity. When a Rebbeim dedicate numerous hours of their own time to talk to Bachram, for the Bachram, they are demonstrating devotion. When the Beis Medrash and the Shirums are alive for the Kol Torah, this shows us, teaches the Rizka Deraisa and the Esha Torah. The Rishonim and Achronim, the Rambam and the Raiva, the Rikivega, the Ktsois, they come alive, they enter the Beis Medrash. One can sense the nitzchias of Torah and the vibrancy of Torah. There is a constant lesson in the yeshiva of Ahavas HaTorah and Cheshkas HaTorah. This is done together with the vital lessons of Midas and proper Ashkafa. This very supreme lesson of Derech HaChaim must always be recognized and utilized. Tonight, we commend, we salute, we applaud our Chashav Marbitei Torah of Yeshivas Meor Torah, Mechanchim of Meor Torah. Yes, you could applaud. The Mechanchim of Meor Torah. I merely represent them as a Shluchah D'Rabbanan in their mission. Thank you for this award and recognition. May Hashem fulfill the tefillah that we say in Ma'ariv and Bakasha, Ki heim chayenu v'yarech yameinu, v'hem nega yam v'layla, and as a result, v'havascha al tasser mimenu l'yayla min. Thank you.
We continue tonight's program with the Simchas HaTorah, celebrating a siyum of Maseches Bava Metzia by many of the Bnei Yeshiva. This siyum Masechta is the culmination of months of extra learning Siddharim. The Messiahim put in time early in the morning, late at night, and during break times to learn the many blat in this Masechta. The Bachrim are also privileged to benefit from the shiurim of Rav Aaron Yonah Pillar and Rabbi Yisrael Meir Bachambovitz, who covered a number of the Prokim in Bava Metzia. We thank Rabbi and Mrs. Ari and Esther Merilis for sponsoring tonight's siyum, Le'ilu Nishmas, Naftali Avram Ben Yoman HaLevi, Mr. Neil Stein, Olav HaShalom. Neil was a board member and a great friend to the yeshiva from early on, and will be remembered for his many acts of chesed on behalf of the many moises in Chicago. May this siyum be a schus for his neshama and serve as a nechama for his chashuva family. Tonight's Messiahim are Nosson Tzvi Bachamovitz, Moshe Cohen, Yitzchak Ginsburg, Yosef Goldstein, Tzvi Eli Goldstein, Menachem Greenberg, Yosef Halpert, Baruch Yehuda Israel, Yosef Israel, David Irons, Moshe Cohen, David Millen, and Dave Safran. I now ask Habacher Baruch Israel to be Messiah Bava Metzia on behalf of the other Messiahim and Abacha Yosef Goldstein to recite the Hadron.
The last Mishnah of Bava Metzia discusses a case where a person owns a gina, a garden, on top of a cliff, and another person owns a garden on bottom of the cliff. The shayla from the middle of the cliff, who gets it? So Mishnah says, Omer Rav Shimon, Kosha es yodet lito hareu shaloi shar shal tachtain. That if the person on top of the cliff is able to reach down and grab the plant, he gets it. And if he's not able to reach it, then it belongs to the person who owns the garden on the bottom of the cliff. So Zok the Gemara, Omer Ephraim Safra Talmidei Shel Rish Lakish Mishum Rish Lakish. Ephraim Safra, the Talmud of Rish Lakish, said B'Shem Rish Lakish Halacha Rav Shimon, the Halacha Rav Shimon. Murak made the Shavar Malka. They said it before the Shavar Malka, which is either Shmuel or it's the Melch Paros. Omer who he said to them, Apariyo Namtayo Rav Shimon. I show chaim towards the psak of Rav Shimon. I like it very much. Hadron Alach Habayis V'Aliyah Sliku Al Mesachas Bava Metzia.
Hadron Alach Mesachas Bava Metzia v'Hadron Chalon. Da'at Chalon Mesachas Bava Metzia v'Da'at Chalon. Lesis Neshe Minach Mesachas Bava Metzia. Lesis Neshe Minon. Leba Omadim Leba Na'asi. Hadron Alach Mesachas Bava Metzia v'Hadron Chalon. Da'at Alach Mesachas Bava Metzia v'Da'at Chalon. Lesis Neshe Minach Mesachas Bava Metzia v'Lesis Neshe Minon. Leba Omadim Leba Na'asi. Hadron Alach Mesachas Bava Metzia v'Hadron Chalon. Da'at Alach Mesachas Bava Metzia v'Da'at Chalon. Lesis Neshe Minach Mesachas Bava Metzia. Lesis Neshe Minon. Leba Omadim Leba Na'asi. Yusuf and Nachadonai Elhinu V'Hei Abatzinu Tehim Tiratzkov Umnasenu Ba'Elam Hazeh V'Tehi B'Elam Elam Haba Chanina Bar Papa Romer Papa Nachman Bar Papa Achai Bar Papa Ababar Bar Papa Rafam Bar Papa Rachet Bar Papa Surcha Bar Papa Adamar Bar Papa Zor Bar Papa V'Harav Nachadonai Elhinu V'Tivri Tzertzcha V'Vinu V'Fios Amcha B'Sov Nia Nachnu Kulon Nachnu Tzatzeinu Tzatze'i Kulon Nachnu Tzatzeinu Tzatze'i Amcha B'Sov Kulon Yedei Shemechu L'Mdei Tzertzcha Me'ava Techak Meinu Mitzvah Ki L'Elam Hili Yihi Libi M'tamim B'Chugach L'Man La'ivish L'Elam Lai Ashkach B'Kudach Kivam Chinisani Baruch Adonai L'Mdei Chugach Amen 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 Salva'ad Ma'adab Nachnu V'Nach Adonai L'Hinu V'Havatinu Shesamta Chalkeinu Mir Shabbat Medrash L'Samta Chalkeinu Mesher Kones Shana Mashkim V'Him Mashkim Anu Mashkim V'Tov V'Him Mashkim V'Rambatilim Anu Milam V'Him Milam Anu Milam Umakam Sachar V'Him Milam V'Him Kav Sachar Anu Ratzim V'Him Ratzim Anu Ratzim Chayil Elam Haba V'Him Ratzim V'Shachar V'Shanam V'Atot Elhim Deredim V'Shachar Anshe Dam Umira V'Yachzu Yimeim V'Ani Abtach Bach Yotov V'Nachadonai Elhai Kshem Shadatain S'ayim Mesachas Bava Metzia Kent Azrin L'Hatzko Mesachas Utzvar Marcheim L'Sayim L'Umar L'Lamed L'Ushma V'Lasis L'Kayim It's called the Beit Shalom D'Zach Ba'ava So it's called Tanam V'Amaram V'Samadich Chom Yamad Li L'Zar Shaloi Samash HaTorah M'Pi Zari Adalam It's the Skayim B'Hisalacha Tancha Isach B'Shachcha Tishma Alacha V'Akizet Hi Tzichacha Ki V'Yirbi Yamacha B'Tzivu L'Chol Shnei Tzchayim Arkimim B'Minu V'Tzmal Arch V'Chavod Adonai Ezlam Eitin Adonai Yirech Zama V'Shalom.
I now ask Rabbi Yaakov Robinson, brother-in-law of Neil Stein Olav Shalom, to recite the Kaddish. Rabbi Robinson, may your entire mishpacha experience only simchas.
Yiskadash Merabo, V'amodi hu osi laskadasa lachayim esaya la'aska yasan l'chayalma, Muvne kartu Yerushalayim l'shachal hechal b'gavei, V'mekar p'olchana nukra minara, V'asra p'olchana dishmai l'asrei, Yamlichu jabrichu hu malchusei yikarei, V'chayechayim v'micham mechadechal beis Yisrael b'aglo v'zman kariv imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mivayrach, Le'ilamo me'amaya, Yisbarach v'yishtabach, Yisbar v'yisman sasei v'yisadar, V'yisalav v'yisalav shmei dikut shabrichu, Le'ilamo mechabechaso shiraso, Tishbechaso nechem asa, Dam yam be'alma v'imru amen. Al Yisrael v'al Rabbanan, v'al Talmidein, v'al kol Talmidei Talmidein, v'kol man daskim be'araisa, di b'asar hadein, v'di b'chol asar v'asar, Yehei lahain, l'chain shlom rabba, Chinu v'chis rachamin, v'chain arichei, mizon arichei, Ufarkana mikadam avum dishmaya v'imru amen. Yehei shalom ram b'shamayim v'chaim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Yaseh Shalom Yiramav, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen.
Mazel tov, please enjoy your dinner. Ready? Yeah. I'm just telling you to look at the screen. Please turn your attention to the screen for a special video presentation in honor of tonight's banquet.
The mission is to impart upon our Talmidim the beauty, the depth, the relevance of Torah and its ideals.
I can't place my finger on exactly what it is, but it's anything I gained in the past 2 years from yeshiva. It's my life. It's what I wake up for in the morning.
The Gemara tells us that since the days of the Avos HaKadoshim, yeshiva has not stopped from our glorious history. That means that Klal Yisrael is built and based on the concept of yeshiva.
Yeshivas serve as a stepping stone where young Bachrim come in and they're ready to take the next step and be transformed into B'nai Torah.
When a Bachur enters the walls of the yeshiva, he is immediately protected. He is absorbing the Kedusha and the Tahara that is within the walls of the Beis Medrash.
The yeshiva takes the Bachur out of his sviva and puts him in an environment where his only focus is growing and learning from his rebbeim.
The yeshiva is your second home. This is where most of what you learn is just going to happen.
It teaches a Bachur how to think, how to analyze a sugya.
To be mechanic bachrim and to teach them how to learn on their own.
It's like a haven that you're able to escape to.
Boys got to have a kasha with other friends, and they all help each other grow. You're all going through the same thing. You all have the same night seder, you have chavrusas. Helps the guys feel supported.
The purpose and goals of a yeshiva, in my opinion, are really to prepare children, for the next stages in their life.
It's focused on growing and striving for more.
It used to be all they had was in a little shtetl, a little village. There was nothing really out there to do. It wasn't that exciting. But nowadays, as we're battling so much more out there, we need now the warmth, we need the excitement, we need the variety.
They should have a tangible geschmack in the limud. They should have a tangible geschmack in Yiddishkeit and connecting to the Rebbeinu Shalom. And if you give them that, then gam ki yazkin lo yoser mimenu.
They are a yeshiva that really are there for the Bachrim. They get to know the Bachrim, and they want to work with the Bachrim, and they want to genuinely figure out what's the best way to connect with a particular Bachur.
Every Bachur is a chelik elakah mimal, is a chelik in the Neshama Kadesha.
When a Rebbe gives over Torah to his Talmud, he's making sure that that Torah is given over in a way that can enter the leiv and the nefesh of the Talmud.
I love it. It's we're looking after every Talmud, helping them, pushing them in the right direction, trying to get them to learn by themselves.
And the boys by themselves are self-motivated. They're in the Beis Medrash early in the morning, late at night. No one's pushing them to stay later. They could leave if they want at 9 o'clock, but some reason at 10:30 when I leave, the place is packed.
Rebbeim are not shaykh. We have the best Rebbeim.
Rebbeim are focused on each Bachur by himself, his milas, where he grows.
Very open relationship with the Rebbeim. You can talk to the Rebbeim anytime you need.
Ron Hala knows each and every Bachur in and out.
They sit with the Bachur one-on-one by night seder sometimes. They'll go through everything he's learning and they'll make sure that he knows it properly.
They show a obvious love for each and every Talmud.
We are blessed with a dedicated, talented, warm staff who are really Meiser Nefesh for the Talmidim.
There's a lot the boys learn just by being in that environment that prepares them for life, besides just the learning. They get to see an example of what a proper Ben Torah looks like.
The Planet Shirim is always very energetic, more of an open Shirim, and guys will be mechavan to different things.
It's just a lot of fun.
He makes sure to add like a little variety. It just made the whole yeshiva experience very enjoyable for me.
The Meor who mentors and teaches a lot of these Bachrim on a daily basis, was an old chaver of mine from yeshiva. If someone would have asked the Bachram in Philadelphia Yeshiva, which Bachar is most likely to impart Avos HaTorah and Cheshek HaTorah to the next generation, hands down, everybody would say it's Meor.
Rabbi Lichtman really tries to build a kasher with all the Bachrim. Rabbi Lichtman's always there, encouraging the guys, helping the guys out. He cares how the Bachrim are doing in the base medrash and also outside of base medrash.
The yeshiva gave me the appreciation of being a Banquet and taught me to be proud of that.
It's our motto. We believe our Talmidim as our children, and we look ahead towards their future growth, and we're in constant touch with them as they continue to grow.
When you focus on the Bachar and you know the Bachar, you can see the gem that every Bachar really is. Kulam ahuvim, kulam kedoshim, kulam berurim. You try to nurture those kaiches, you try to make those kaiches grow, and you make each Talmud the best that this Talmud was meant to be.
This morning, when I entered the Peterson Park Kollel for Shacharis, I saw Ebi Godnicki and Rabbi Yitzchak Simcha knocking away learning before Shacharis. When I came back for first Seder, here was Ebi Godnicki again, already on to his second Seder of the day with Renan Zimmerman, right there knocking away. And I was thinking to myself the following thought. Once heard a story of Zelig Epstein, I heard from a friend of mine, told a friend of mine, who was contemplating commuting for a job so his kids could have a better education. So he said that if his kids see him learning during the time that he would have been commuting, that outweighs the benefits of a higher level education. How fortunate are the Godnickis, whose boys in Yeshivas Meor HaTorah are privileged to a high quality chinuch, and at the same time are zoicha to the powerful chinuch of their father's kvias iten l'Torah. As they begin their day, they see their father next door in the kollel during his second Seder of his day. The Godnicki family is well known in the Chicago community for their many acts of chesed and community involvement. To Yeshivas Meor HaTorah, they have been longtime parents, board members, have been counted on as hosts for numerous yeshiva functions. The Godnickis prefer not to be in the limelight, but because of their hakaras hatov, they have agreed to extend themselves to ensure the hatzlacha of the yeshiva. As Yeshivas Meor HaTorah enters its next stage of growth with the opening of a dormitory to service B'nai Torah from around the country, our banquet hosts, Mr. Usher Cohn and Mr. Morty Lebovitz, concluded that the Godnickis would be the perfect family to highlight for their commitment to growth in Torah and to Yeshivas Meor HaTorah in particular. We are proud to ask our banquet hosts, Mr. Usher Cohn and Mr. Morty Lebovitz, to join the Anholas HaYeshiva in expressing our appreciation to the Godnicki family. I ask Ebi Godnicki, along with his father-in-law, Rabbi Meir McGency, grandfather, Reverend Noah Wolf, to join me at the podium.
I told Avi we wouldn't leave him up here hanging alone.
The inscription reads, "Presented with appreciation to Mr. and Mrs. A.B. Ronikudnicki, Annual Banquet, Yeshivas Meor HaTorah, Tovshin Ayin Ches." At the same time, a gift is being presented to Mrs. Ronikudnicki.
By the way, it's 2 out of 2 Siddharms, so I don't want everyone to get too carried away. Brishus, the Rosh Yeshiva, the Anhalos Yeshiva, my father-in-law, my grandfather-in-law, the Chashuv Rabbanim here today, the Chala Kala Kadosh Hazem. I first want to thank you for joining us here tonight to show Kavod HaTorah and to Mechazik Yeshivas Meor HaTorah. I have the privilege to be in the yeshiva building on a regular basis. I have personally witnessed the tremendous ruach of steiging that goes on every single day at Yeshivas Meor HaTorah. The seriousness in tefillah, the pleasant midas of the Bachrim, and of course the amazing devotion of the Rebbeim. Runit and I have also had the zechus of hosting several Onik Shabbos over the years, and we have really seen the growth of the yeshiva as well as a tremendous ruach amongst the Talmidim as they have continued to gel and develop. We have sent 4 of our boys to Yeshivas Meor HaTorah, each with his own set of abilities and distinct personalities. The yeshiva has invested their kaiches into developing each one of them according to their derech, nurturing their growth, challenging their strengths, and when needed, redirecting them to the proper path. Wasn't that often, but you know. It was the reason why there's a dedication by the Hanhala's office. My boys have spent some time there. But we are very thankful to the Hanhala and to the Rebbeim Yeshivas Meor HaTorah for the devotion and investment they put into our children, as well as to all the Bachrim of the yeshiva. With Hashem's help, may they continue to develop Bachrim for many years to come. Yeshivas Meor HaTorah has emerged as a Makam Torah which produces B'nai Torah of the highest caliber. The alumni of the yeshiva are found throughout the finest yeshivas across the United States and Eretz Yisrael. Word has been spreading for some time about this great yeshiva, and requests have been made to open a dormitory for some time now. Be'ezus Hashem, coming next month, the yeshiva is opening its doors to a large group of Bachrim from outside the Chicago Jewish community. What the yeshiva has provided for our children is now being offered to Talmidim wherever they may be from. The dormitory will also provide an essential service to our in-town Bachrim, as they now will be able to spend more time in the yeshiva throughout the week while still being able to return home for Shabbos. As someone who's attended many board meetings, I can tell you that the yeshiva is fortunate to be assisted by a group of Bali Batim who give their time and resources to ensure that this latest development, along with many other behind-the-scenes initiatives, are brought to fruition. In the name of the entire yeshiva and all those who recognize the accomplishments of this great Makam HaTorah, I thank you and wish you all bracha on everything that you do. Once again, thank you for taking part in this evening. L'chvay the yeshiva, and I wish you all much nachas from your families. Thank you.
B'shus Avimayri Shlita, B'shus Moran HaRosh Hashiva Shlita, B'shus HaRosh Mesifta, V'chol HaRabbonim, V'chol HaKol HaKodesh Hazeh. At the end of this week's Parsha, where Gans Klal Yisrael waited for Miriam, a few million people were waiting for a whole week. Rashi quotes the words of Chazal, V'ha'am loy nasa. The nation did not travel. Zeha kovid cholak la'hamakam b'shvil sha achas shenis'akav l'moishe k'shahelach li'or. This honor HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave her because of the 1 hour that she waited for Moshe when he was thrown into the river. Tosfos in Saita says that the lashon of sha achas is lav dafka. It really means a shlish, a reviyah of a shah, a third or a quarter of an hour. Like it says in the Tosefta, Mida Teva Meruba Mida Pranias Al Achas Chomish Meos. The measure of good that HaKadosh Baruch Hu repays is 500 times the measure repaid for bad. So 7 days is 168 hours, times 60 minutes is over 1,000 minutes. So if Miriam waited 20 minutes, a third of an hour, then 500 times 20 is 1,000 minutes. Chazal are teaching us a tremendous lesson. That every Maisa, even if seemingly insignificant, after all, Miriam was Moshe's sister, but still the reward was 500 times as great. Alachas kama v'kama when it comes to things of greater significance. I heard about Rav Pam Zatzal that when he would make out a check and send a donation to a Mokum Torah, he was makveh to go mail the letter himself. Because he felt that every tircha, every effort that someone expends to be mechazik Torah is so precious, he didn't want to give that up and have someone else deliver the letter to the mailbox. Baruch Hashem, the Ilm HaTorah in Chicago is growing tremendously. There are many, many functions, but still, you look around the room and you see an overflow crowd. It's so heartwarming. And to think how chashuv it is by the Rabbeinu Shalom that people come to give, and how many Yidden get together to be mechazik Torah begufam u'b'ma'idam, physically and financially, the schar is immeasurable. It is our tefillah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should continue to bench each and every one of us with the continued opportunity to be matzliach and haramas keren HaTorah, the raising of the chashivos of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah. It is a special kavod and a zchus for us to have with us here tonight Harav Hagoyin Rav Moshe Hillel Shlita, the Rosh Hashiva of Slabodka Yeshiva for close to 50 years. A Talmud of Rabbi Aaron Kotler, Zecher Tzaddik Levracha, a Chaber Me'etzes of the Me'etzes Gedolei HaTorah of Eretz Yisrael. We have the privilege to be Nene Me'oiroi, basking in the light of the Rosh Hashiva's Eitzes V'Hadrachas. We are especially Makar Tova for the Rosh Hashiva making himself available to us amongst all the other Mekaymes HaTorah that the Rosh Hashiva carries. The Rosh Hashiva gives us the feeling that we have a special relationship with him. It is our tefillah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should continue to give the Rosh Hashiva Arichas Yomim V'Shonim, Gesund and Koyach, to continue to be Marbitz Torah and Madrich Klal Yisrael. With Cherdes HaKavod and great reverence, we would like to ask the Rosh Hashiva to give the Rei Bracha.
Bishus, Rosh Mesifta Shlita, Hamnayo Shlita, Rosh HaKoilel, Shlita Rabbonim, Shlita, Erech HaKovid, Shlita, Kol HaKodesh Hazeh. We find a very interesting Chazal in Maseches Temura. Moshe Rabbeinu, the day of his Ptira, came to Yeshua and said that Yeshua, ask me, come and listen, ask me something in Torah, whatever you don't know, come to ask me, and I'll teach you Torah. And Yeshua answers Moshe Rabbeinu, Rebbe, it says in the Torah that Lo Yomish, that I never left the oil. I was there all the time with you. I learned everything from you. I have nothing to learn from you anymore. Meor says that day, Yeshua forgot, I think 70 halachas, and many other things bad happened. And that explains why. Because Moshe Rabbeinu had a chalichus hadas, that Yeshua was not ready to hear from Torah anymore. That Yeshua was not ready to be anymore a Talmud of his. That he knew as much as him, as Moshe Rabbeinu, he wasn't necessary anymore. But the question is, what really could have Yeshua have done? What benefit could he have had from Moshe Rabbeinu telling him again Torah that he already knew? He did know. What could have he had, and what did Moshe Rabbeinu feel that Yeshua could have had from him had he told him again the same Torah that he already had knew? No. We find another Chazal, which Rashi brings down. The Moshe Rabbeinu rebuked Klal Yisrael in Parshas Dvarim and tells them that when I came to you with the Eitzah of the judges dividing up Klal Yisrael, sorry Elef, sorry Meir, sorry Chamishim, sorry Asorais. You should have said, Rabbeinu Moshe, from whom was it better to learn Torah? From you, who was mitztayer atzmai al Torah, or from other people? And the fact that you didn't do that indicated to me that you were not, you had a mind to have judges that you could fool. Moshe Rabbeinu says to Klal Yisrael that they should have said, I want to learn from you Torah, but you mitztayer atzmai al Torah. Why mitztayer? What mila did Moshe Rabbeinu have? Because he was mitztayer atzmai al Torah more than anybody else. They did not say, I want to learn Torah from you, but you heard from the Rabbanim Shlomo. Because Bemis in those days, there were many other Yidden who had Kol Torah Kula with them. They learned it from Moshe Rabbeinu, and they were able to give over the entire Torah to Klal Yisrael. But Moshe Rabbeinu had this one mila. He'd start out the Al Torah. And it was possible to say that when a person is mitztayer on something, when a person works on something hard, and has tsar, and he finally is successful, and has it, that thing becomes very, very choshev by him. Very, very valuable, choshev. The dalga of Chshivas HaTorah, which Moshe Rabbeinu had, was more than anybody else. And it was this Chshivas HaTorah which Moshe Rabbeinu was able to give over to everybody more than anybody else. And how did he give it over? He didn't say any Musa Shmuisen. The way he taught, the way he said it, you felt in him the Chshivas HaTorah, and that Chshivas HaTorah was a lesson to Klal Yisrael. That's what he meant to Yeshua. I'll tell you Torah again. You'll have an additional Chshivas HaTorah. Every amount of Chshivas HaTorah which a person has is more and more, is better and better. This is what Moshe Rabbeinu was saying. And why is the Chshivas HaTorah so important? Why is Chshivas HaTorah so important to give over to a Talmud? to give over to Klal Yisrael. And we find Rabbeinu Yoina in Mishlei says a very important yesod. Lo itzliach b'limud ha'chochmah. Nobody was matzliach in limud ha'chochmah, limud ha'torah. Im eineno yikore beinov. Im Torah is not choshev in his eyes. A person cannot be matzliach in Torah the way he's supposed to be. Lo tiskayim biyotcho. And will not be miskayim by him. He will forget it. Shenemar v'nemar nuchalti eid Yossecho. I inherited your Torah, ki sosain li behemo, because it was sosain. I had simcha from the Torah. Rabbeinu Yonah is telling us a tremendous yesod here. That for a person, a tremendous yesod in chinuch. We all know that one of the big problems of chinuch is Bochum Mekama say, I have no time in the Torah. I don't enjoy learning. It's hard for me to learn. How do we get that a boy should want to learn, should have this hanoah from the Torah? Here Rabbeinu Yonah tells us the Eitzah. The Eitzah is Shivas HaTorah. If a person, if a boy, if anybody, not Dafka Bocha, anybody, every Yid would know why Torah is so choshev. If a person would know in his own heart what the tachlis of himself is in life, that the whole purpose of a person's being is to be nena miziv hashchina, to be close to the Rabbanim Shalom, be the dobek ba'Kodesh Baruch Hu, to be part, to cleave to HaKodesh Baruch Hu. And he knows that that comes about. He fulfills his purpose. The best possible way is through Torah, as the Ramchal says. If a person has this limud, and the limud is put into him, and he feels it, and then he learns Torah, even though he doesn't really enjoy it physically at that particular moment, and that happens to everybody. There are some sugis which are very, very difficult. It's very hard. Not every sugi has a geschmack of svara. And in order for to enjoy Torah, it has to be choshuv. A person sees somebody else drowning in a very cold river on a very cold day, and he jumps into the river, and he saves him, freezing. The man is a big man, and it's very hard to take him out, and it's pulling him out. He has absolutely no physical hanoah whatsoever at that time. It's very difficult for him at that time, but he has tremendous satisfaction because he's doing such an important thing. He's saving the life of a person. A person can do very difficult things, which is not no satisfaction in the sense of a physical satisfaction, but he's doing something very important, and that gives him satisfaction. And that's what, if you have Shivas HaTorah, the Shivas HaTorah itself gives a bocha and everybody a hanoah, I'm doing something very important. And one doesn't have to think about it with the whole cheshbon like I'm saying here. It goes into a person's psyche that Torah is important. And without thinking, he realizes he's doing something important, that's enough. And Rabbeinu Yonah adds something. Rabbeinu Yonah tells us, a cloud. According to the degree of sweetness in the haravanya of Torah, if a person learns Torah with a geschmack, and every day, every morning we mispal harevno Hashem Elokeinu divrei seresecho b'finu v'fi hamcho beis Yisrael v'yanachnu v'tzesoeinu kulonu d'shemecho. We're mispal, it should be a harevno. Why are we mispal for the harevno? Because Rabbeinu Yonah says when you have a harev no, tipokach me'eni ha'seichel. The eni ha'seichel open up. The eni ha'seichel of chokhmah open up. And suddenly Torah, you begin to understand Torah like you never understood before. This is the formula. The formula is give Shivas HaTorah. If you have Shivas HaTorah, you have satisfaction. You have anor. Tipokach me'eni ha'seichel. Suddenly you understand more. And then you have even more hanor and more satisfaction. And it goes higher and higher. This is the inyan of Chivas HaTorah, which Moshe Rabbeinu was saying, how important it is. I've had a privilege over the past maybe 10 years at least of having a close connection with the Rabbeim and the Yeshiva Meor HaTorah. And there are very many parts of chinuch. A yeshiva has to have chinuch. It requires a deep understanding of every Talmud and Talmud, an ability to relate to each Talmud as an individual, the ability to solve problems which come up in the yeshivish world, in the world of the bacher. And one has to realize that for a bacher, his world is the yeshiva. And there are very many complex situations there. There could be jealousy. There could be rejection by the chevra, by his friends, which could be devastating for a bacher. And one has to, and the Hanhola and the Rabbeim have to work on that, have to know how to work on that. And this yeshiva has all of that to a tremendous degree. The ability of work on each one individually. The knowledge and the expertise in how to handle bachrim who have problems. And there are always problems in every yeshiva. You have to have expertise, knowledge, mesiras nefesh, and that they have. But they also have this aspect. One of the chiyuv of a yeshiva is to imbue into a bacher the chshivas HaTorah. A bacher should leave yeshiva with chshivas HaTorah, v'avas HaTorah. And one of the great ways of doing that is, as Moshe Rabbeinu showed, by showing how choshev it is to him, and that they see all the time, the tremendous love of Torah that they have, the chshivas HaTorah, how Torah is their life. And that's the greatness of the Yeshiva Meor HaTorah. The expertise in chinuch, the avos HaTorah which they give to the bacherim. I'm very, very happy tonight that I can come and be part of this dinner to express my bracha to the Rosh Yeshiva, to the whole staff, to all the friends of the yeshiva. The Chosh Baruch should give them the koyach, the Sata D'Shmaya, to continue their tremendous work. V'yesa se'eis v'yesa oz, l'hagnu toiru l'hadiro, ad biyad goyel, s'keni b'mheri b'yameinu, amen.
We will now bench. Following benching, we invite you to partake of the dessert buffet set up outside the ballroom. Please follow the directions for the men's and women's area. Thank you to Mayor Knopf of Draper and Kramer for sponsoring tonight's valet parking. mention.
You wash, I doubt you wash.
כן, כן. אברהם, שייך לכאן. Thank you.